The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. Today, we have an awesome guest, Brittany Bell. We're going to talk about Gametime Hero. And if you are an adult athlete or even someone who wants to be an athlete, this is going to be the podcast for you.
She's Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9 Sports. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. This is TalkNorth.com. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We want to thank Minnesota Masonic Charities, Lucy Nicotine Pouches, and the Minnesota Twins for sponsoring the show, and really looking forward to this conversation. Back to you, Dawn.
Thanks, Jim. Brittany, without further ado, I was really looking forward to talking to you because you and your husband, I believe, came up with this app that I love when people fill a gap. I have so many friends that want to do things, play sports. And then when you become an adult, trying to catch on with a team or wherever you're going is so difficult. So I want everyone to know that your app is called Gametime Hero. And I think you're the hero, first of all,
thank you.
Because you're a former athlete. Your husband plays sports too when you guys were coming up with this. But can you tell the people, like, what was your core mission in creating an app to get people together so that they can actually play sports as an adult with their busy lives?
Yeah, well, one of the things we had actually moved, I'm from Lakeville.
Mm-hmm.
We had moved from...
I lived in Lakeville for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, love it. Great city. And we had moved from Minnesota to Seattle. And we're trying to figure out how in the world do you make friends as an adult. We're both super active people, and to find where to play, who to play with, and what's going on was incredibly hard, even in a tech center like Seattle. So yeah, we built this really with the mission of being able to help people belong, build community, and have found a lot of gaps along the way that we've been able to fill.
What I love about it is not only, like, say I used to play soccer and I only really have one day off a week. You know, I have Sundays when it's not football season, so I can't commit to a league. I can't, because, there's rules about it, unwritten rules in every sport that you play, like, oh, she didn't show up for practice on Wednesday night. She really shouldn't be playing, or that kind of stuff. What I love about your app is if I were traveling and I flew to Seattle, say, and, covering something for work. And I said, gosh, I have this free night. I would love to do a pickup soccer game somewhere. That's where I could hit the app and find out if there is one. And it kind of takes care of all that other petty stuff along the way, doesn't it?
100%. I mean, one of the biggest differences between like a youth sports team and adult is that if we all were on a kickball team, nobody's changing their plans to make it to the kickball game. If you're going to the cabin on the weekend, you're going to the cabin. And so it ultimately helps a lot of that organization that comes with an adult league that you don't have to try out for, that anyone can come, or like a game of pickleball where anybody can join, and really identifying the right levels and giving people the opportunity to know, where it is and who you'd be playing with.
I'd love to be the one at the fly on the wall, as they say, in those jam sessions, the mental jam sessions when you're putting it together, because you even have questions that will be like, okay, what is your skill level? You break it down to brass tacks to take away some of that drama, I would say. But when you're sitting around in the infant stages, First of all, you have to come up with the coding and all of that stuff on the technical side that if you talk to me and Jim on the writing, creative, sports side, we're like, what? But then you also have to deal with people. So you have the tech and then you have the emotions. What was it like in those early stages trying to formulate this idea?
Well, one thing that's interesting is my background has actually been in senior living. So I have been in the midst of building communities with communities. And so in the midst of the COVID pandemic, if people remember, Seattle was like the epicenter of where it started. I was an executive director of a senior living community. And
scary.
Incredibly scary, a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
But we made it through. But one of the things that was really important to me is I didn't want to be the leader or the person that is bringing COVID into the building with the most vulnerable people. So me and AR, we went on super lockdown, I would say.
Wow.
And we quickly learned that we were not good at home improvement projects like the rest of folks. And so we literally had this conversation to say, okay, what are we good at? What can we contribute? And how do we pass the time? And so we literally put up 3M poster boards all through our house. So
really?
AR's background, he's a software developer. So
that's helpful.
Very helpful. He was working at Google at the time. He had worked at Microsoft. And then my background is in operations. And we both have organized sports, coached sports, played. And he has had this idea for a long time. And we were like, I wonder if we could actually build it. And I'm like, can you build such a thing? And so we wireframed it. There's poster boards all through our house. He started coding. And ultimately, like, we spent a lot of time just interviewing people. So we interviewed people who didn't play sports, who were interested in building community. We interviewed people who were team managers, league organizers, and we took that time that was fairly depressing and tried to do all of our research. And that's when he really started to build it.
That is so cool. So what were the important, shall I say, cornerstones for you? Coming from a community background and developing, kind of that system and personalities dealing with all of that. What were the cornerstones for you in this app that you wanted to have that were must-haves?
Well, the interesting thing for myself is there's not a lot of women in this field, definitely not a lot of women CEOs when it comes to sports tech. So what I would do when I interviewed people, I heard over and over, oh my gosh, it's so nice to talk to another female because there are very specific things regarding safety, regarding naming conventions, regarding how the whole flow should be organized that I had heard from one gal. She said, everyone wants our business. They all call me. They all want me to join their platform. But when I make suggestions, it feels like it falls on deaf ears. So that is something I would say pretty unique to us. And we have been trying both from women, underrepresented communities, really trying to be very intentional in the language we use, in how the flow is. And we have probably the majority of our communities right now are women in underrepresented communities.
Really?
Not
nice.
necessarily purposeful, but I think people see what we're doing. People see that we're listening, paying attention. There's one organization in Minnesota called Rooted Philanthropic, and they are out of East St. Paul, and they are also trying to build community, make things really accessible. And so we were able to do a partnership and make our whole platform translatable so that it can be in multiple different languages and people are able to find community and find belonging in that way.
And also, obviously, user-friendly, right? To make it intuitive, to make it work, right? Especially people who aren't very techie or also people who are on the go. Like if someone's traveling and, I've got to do this or this, it can't be overcomplicated, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I have thought, gosh, maybe I've been training for this my whole career in senior living to make a platform, because my background's not tech, that is really simple enough, but still able to have everything on the back end for the organizer.
Yes.
So we have, quite a few pickleball groups. We have some walking soccer organizations that are walking soccer. I've learned about more hobbies and more sports that I never knew existed.
Wow.
And so we have populations kind of all ages and all tech ability. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to say. We are the platform for people who didn't think that there was technology for them.
Yes.
That thought it would be too complicated or too complex to join.
But I love you mentioned women's safety, because we all think about that as women. We think about it. Sometimes we didn't even know we're thinking about being safe. You just pick up the car keys and you put them between your fingers if you're walking to your car at night, like, oh, I'm good. I only parked around the corner, but you're still aware. Women we're just bred different, I think, sadly. But when you get online and you're thinking about apps and you're thinking about meeting up with strangers, there has to be some sort of filter and stuff like that in consideration. So first of all, kudos to you for thinking about that. But what's the feedback been on that for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we're in the stage right now, I would say, that we are spending a ton of time with people that are using the platform to get feedback, to continue building, continue listening. We're still young.
Yeah.
We're working with one organization called PlayGap, focused on women's sports. They're out of Cleveland, Ohio, and they focus a lot on safety in sport. And so trying to provide resources for other people on the platform or building communities on how you make it a safe space, how you make it an inclusive space, how you make these communities really welcoming. As when you're bringing a bunch of strangers together, it's a lot to think about as that organizer.
Yeah, but fun.
Oh, so fun.
More to come. We do want to thank the people who make this all possible. Again, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio. I want to thank a great Minnesota company, helps so many people, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Masonic Charities. When you think about the Masons, I get it. You think about the funny hats, those pancake breakfasts, which are phenomenal. My dear friend John Schweitz and I have chatted about this, and it's so much more than that. They've got the Masonic home over in Bloomington. They've got the hospital for the children over at the U of M. They are the largest fraternal organization in terms of charitable needs in our country, and they deserve a ton of recognition. So thank you, Minnesota Masonic Charities, for all you do and for supporting us over here at Talk North, and a special thanks to my good friend, John Schweitz.
Thank you also to Lucy Nicotine Pouches.
I've talked about Lucy before because my friends keep telling me it's their go-to pouch. Well, here's the update. Now it's even easier to try because you can grab Lucy at Quick Trip. A bunch of them have tried them all, and now Lucy is their go-to. They call them top-notch lip pillows, and honestly, they say it's the best pouch experience they've ever had. The flavors are strong and actually last. Mint, apple ice, mango, espresso, berry citrus, and apple cider. Not sure where to start? Grab the 6-pack and try them all. And the real difference is Lucy Breakers. Each pouch has a little breaker ball inside. Bite it and you get an extra burst of flavor with a smooth nicotine kick that lasts longer. Lucy is smooth, long-lasting, and doesn't dry out. Give them a try. Get 20% off your first order when you buy online at lucy.co/dawn with a promo code DAWN. That's lucy.co/dawn with the promo code DAWN. And if you don't want to wait, check out their store locator to find where you can pick up Lucy at the nearest Quick Trip today. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of a legal age, and every customer is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
And guess what? It's a great time of the year to go out to the ballpark. The Twins, you can get a ticket. You can get a good ticket. You can go walk around. You can watch a young pitcher. You can watch Byron Buxton. Highly recommend getting out to the ballpark this year.
Here is where it all starts. Here's where pages are turned and new legends are written. Here's where kids become lifelong fans and lifelong fans become kids. Here's where sunsets last longer, happy hour tastes better, and summer hits its stride. And when all of Twins territory stands together and believes hard enough, well, there's no place like here. Get your tickets at twins.com.
One thing I was going to say about your app is what I love is about the idea is that so much of American culture, softball teams, whatever sport we want to play, it all used to revolve around the bar, right? You had to go drink a beer with somebody to get into that scene.
Yep.
And, for those of us who are not very tolerant to alcohol anymore, it's a great thing to have an app that you can just do that with and not have to go drink 8 beers to get to know somebody.
Absolutely. I think there's so many different pieces, especially with the younger generations coming along, and also with social isolation being an epidemic. Really trying to figure out how to get people in person and feeling part of something without having to have a beer or being pressured to have alcohol.
Yeah, I really love that. We have a mutual friend, Andrea Yock, who during COVID lockdown, she and her husband were just thinking, what can we do? What can we do? She created the Aurora soccer team. Some great ideas have been born out of that. It sounds like you and AR.
I didn't do anything good during COVID.
I just tried to drink whiskey.
I drank some whiskey and that's about it.
I tried to learn
Kept
how
my
to
dogs
cook
happy.
better.
That's the only thing I accomplished.
I know. So kudos to you and AR for okay, what can we do? And at that point, when you guys thought about it, back to Jim's community thing, right? People were locked down. You couldn't even go to a bar, right? So it was born of, hopefully, A, we'll be in a place where we can get together again, and B, how can we foster community in a different way? Not go to a bar and meet someone or watch a game and then find your tribe, so to speak. And now that you see it, like you said, it's still young. But seeing things come to fruition, do you kind of feel like a proud mama and papa now that you see it, now that the world's opening up again?
100%. I mean, it's been the most enjoyable piece is when we talk to someone about their community and we are able to really help them. So a lot of people organizing adult sports or adult communities, they believe that technology is too expensive for them. It is, most of these technology platforms have been built for these giant youth club leagues.
Yeah, and they're expensive.
And they're really expensive. And so these organizers are really, in my opinion, doing some of the best work for society of bringing people together, building friendships. And they're spending time chasing people down with Venmo, tracking things on Excel, posting things on Facebook, messing with all these websites. And so when we're able to bring them time back, which is ultimately their biggest value, and save them money, it's such a win because it feels like we're making an arm of impact for them to continue to spend time with their communities and continue to build them. And these people are the most hardworking, passionate people that care so much about their community and spending a ton of time on the back end, making sure everything is organized for everyone.
And I have a friend that was trying to find a soccer team and had to go on a Facebook group, and this person's not a joiner, I don't want to join another Facebook group and then I'm going to get, it's perfect. Yeah. It's an app where you don't, and it's more specific, say if I just want to find a soccer team that's in Seattle or in Texas, and I'm just going to be there on Thursday night. It can be that specific about who to get in touch with and what to do. And you just input all your information about, this is my level, haven't played in 6 years or whatever you have to put. And then you have the safety feature. Have you had any feedback as to, thank you for not making me join another Facebook group or pay for a huge expensive app that, I'm never going to be playing, cribbage. I want to be able to find my specific lane and find a game.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get into the politics of Meta,
No.
but it is one of those things that for me personally, I couldn't get off Facebook even if I wanted to, because that's where all the sports were. So
yeah.
AR and I, we travel quite a bit, and it's the same story. We would go to find volleyball or pickleball. We'd join a group. It would take 2 days to get accepted.
Yes.
Then we would try to figure out where they were, and then it would be time for us to leave.
Right.
And so we missed out, staying active. So for that, free for participants. So we've tried to make everything as easy as possible for people to be able to find and less nuanced. We've gotten a lot of feedback on what people like about the groups and what are nuances that people would rather not have. We've gotten a lot of questions on ads. And so we don't have any ads in the platform to try to just make it as clean and, like I said, user-friendly as possible.
So if somebody is listening right now and they said, I want to download this app, they can just go and buy it anywhere. Is there any, and then how much is it? I know that you wanted to keep the cost low so it wouldn't be astronomical for people.
Yeah, so it is mobile friendly right now. We'll have the official mobile app on the App Store by the end of the year.
Nice.
So it's gametimehero.com. You can sign up for free, whether you're a participant or an organizer, to turn on all of the tools, meaning website, liability waivers, tournament organizer, invoices, all the features we have. It's $19.99 a month.
That's great.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, we've been trying to really figure out how to make it as accessible for some of these niche communities.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that he travels a lot for work and he would love to find pickleball. But, the gym he belongs to here, you can go be a member anywhere. But if he goes to a city that there is no, I don't know the name, I don't want to drop the name of his gym. I can, in case it's wrong. But let's just say it's like not the YMCA or Lifetime.
Yeah.
You go to maybe a Dallas or something and they don't have it. That way you can still play pickleball. Like I'm going to be in Topeka for a week, I don't know how many cities you've expanded to yet, but I'm assuming Seattle, Minneapolis are the ones that you're really well versed in. Is that the biggest population of people that you have seen, or what's been the research on that?
Yeah, our biggest saturation right now is Seattle, the Twin Cities, and then going into California. If there are people organizing anywhere in the nation, you don't have to have a saturation of people to bring your community on. And we have anywhere from pickleball groups. We've got one of the largest women's hiking groups in the Midwest that just joined this week, actually went live.
That's great.
So yeah, there's a good variety of folks.
What's the craziest? I know you said walking soccer, which I'm not quite sure what that is, but is that one of the most unique that you said or are they separate? Is it a walking club and a soccer club? Is walking soccer a thing?
Walking soccer is a thing.
Wow.
So I've been a soccer player and fan my whole life. I went to watch a tournament and it was phenomenal. Actually,
Really?
It was way more competitive than I was expecting. It's really popular in Europe, but it is coming and growing in the United States. So you have a certain pace that you can't go faster than. So there's no running allowed. The ball has to be, I think, below shoulder level. And there's how people move. It's a lot of like lunges.
Really?
I've had knee surgery. So I told them I was going to try it out. I think I'm still too young for some of the levels. Most of them are 55 plus. But fascinating. And with like the baby boomer generation, I think walking soccer could get more and more popular because it's much easier on your body than regular soccer. But I'm telling you, as competitive, fascinating. The other thing that I recently heard of is lightsaber fencing.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I had never heard of that before, but
Very Star Wars.
There are gyms, actual full facilities just for this sport and exercise.
Wow.
And then recently I've been hearing so much about Mahjong.
Yes.
Lately. And that's a community that
There's
could
a
organize.
club that just started literally, where was it? 50th in France.
I heard it's the biggest TikTok trend. The more I've been asking people, the more I'm learning how many people play Mahjong on a regular basis.
It's actually in a storefront. It used to be like some boot camp workout place. All of a sudden it says Mahjong's coming. And I'm
amazing.
Like, what? That's incredible. Oh, so it doesn't have to be like, it can be a sport or a game, right? It doesn't have to.
Yeah. We built it with sports in mind to start. And so we have a lot of soccer players, we have pickleball players, we've got volleyball, but organizing a community, one of the things we've realized is that it all is similar technology. So in St. Paul, we have a lot of East St. Paul communities that are using it to organize all their events on the East Side.
Okay.
So anyone, I would say, that has an active engaging community that someone needs automation, AI-powered technology to just streamline their work, likely the technology will work for them.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So if someone's listening and they're like, this is me, I'm so identifying with this app, is there still a waiting list? Like they say they have to go on gametimehero.com. What's their next step after that?
Yep, they can sign up. They will get an email from our team asking if they need any questions. For anyone that has a community that wants to bring it on, we will walk through the full process with them. We will build their website for them. And we've got multiple onboarding guides for them and for their members. So from a service level too, I would say it's a different level of support to make sure that they are able to move onto the platform and have as little trouble as possible. So even if someone is not techie, this is the platform for them.
Oh, that's awesome. I know when you were talking, I visualized, because I just know in kind of a few neighborhoods around here, there's a lot of former NHL players, right? That they all meet up at various ponds or little lakes in the neighborhoods. And you can show up just on a Sunday and you can be like, is that Dave Christian? Is that so? You know, and they're playing. I said, oh, I could just see a whole bunch of former pro athletes that are like, okay, we're older now and we want our own exclusive kind of, you know, we don't want to advertise. We just want to form something that could be for them as well.
100%. I mean, we've talked to a lot of professional athletes or even college athletes of what do you do after when sport has been your entire life and you want to stay really competitive. We had an almost Olympic hammer thrower on our team, and she was talking about all the nuances of when you're training day after day and then also wanting to find your people, not wanting to be a jerk by saying no, but you want really high level competition.
Yes. That's why I said I liked really that you have that part in your app where you can say like the skill level.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think they do it with pickleball. My friends like, I'm still at they rate them, you know, I'm still at
a big thing.
25 or And I was like, I've never played pickleball, so I don't know. I'm like, no, it's a big deal, Dawn. I have to get better. Because right now I'm playing with people who are really bad, but I'm still bad. But I want to get better and go against better competition, you know? So it is a catch-22 for pickleballers, but it helps if it's like a Olympian hammer thrower, right?
100%. And pickleball, that was probably the biggest piece of feedback. AR and I are both pickleball players and coaches, so we know that really well. And so for those level ratings and tournaments and all of that, I think we've gotten pickleball right.
The woman's perspective too, and you touched on it just then and it hit a chord in me. I think the hardest thing for me when I graduated college was not having a team to report to for the first time in my entire life since second grade. And you don't think about that, you know, especially when you start your career and you're working and it's crazy. And then you try to show up, like I was saying earlier, and, you know, you didn't come to practice. And then, you know, it gets a little catty and you don't want to deal with that. But for me, the biggest, hardest gap to fill was not having a community, not having a team, not having that environment to show up in and to have your friends in. And especially for women, because there's not many groups that you can go on to play professional. You know, we're getting better, you know, we're getting better. But there wasn't, once you graduated college, that was it. You know, there's no semi-pro soccer when I was around. I'm from New England. There wasn't any of that. If you weren't on the Olympic track, then you're done. And I find that I'm just so happy now for how women's sports is growing, that it doesn't have to be the it for the women. And it's just like an emotional thing that you don't even think about. And for me, I couldn't put my finger on what bothered me so much because you're busy.
Or what was missing.
What was missing. Exactly. And sometimes it's just being accountable to something, you know, having that discipline of showing up and working out and showing up and even on the bad days, being a good teammate. I think this also in a really good way bridges that gap as well, that many women may not know exists until they're trying to figure it out while they're starting their careers.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I met AR, I would say how how prevalent adult sports are, recreational sports. It wasn't something that I thought existed everywhere. And so that was, so fun. And I think the more women's sports gains attention, the more women, and especially like middle-aged women that might think, hey, I used to play soccer. I would love to play again. I didn't even know there was an opportunity. We're partnering with some of the women's sports bars throughout the nation, which for me personally is the most exciting.
Yeah.
So Watch Me Sports Bar, they are not a league, but they are bringing all of their technology onto Gametime Hero so they can advertise all of their events that they have.
Oh, great.
And they do, like women will come to that women's sports bar and they will get a party bus to go to the Angel FC games.
Oh, okay.
And so they're going to use the platform as a way to also shout out women's sports and what they have going on at the bar and then handle all the registration. So that's a unique area too, I think, just because being a female and talking to different people on who might need the technology, I think the wave of where women's community sports are going, I definitely think Gametime Hero will be at the center of it.
And I love that it's not just for the sports that we know. I'm learning stuff about walking soccer. I'm not there yet, but like I pictured like the fast walkers. Can they
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
You never know. Like I say, I want to be active until I'm like 80s and 90s and beyond. I want to be one of those. I want to live to 110. I want to be on that Smucker's jar that they used to do on the Today Show. Is that what it was? I'm going to be the feisty old lady if I have my way. But so walking soccer could be something that I could aspire to.
Oh my gosh, 80-year-old women at a competitive walking soccer tournament. I'm telling you, I'll show you some videos.
Oh my
There's
gosh, I would
nothing
love that.
like it.
I got a team name for you.
What is it?
Shin kickers.
The shin kickers. I could see you kicking some shins.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Well, when I first moved here to Minnesota, they had, I've seen boot hockey before, and broom hockey, but to the competitive level that it is here in Minnesota, and it's still -20. And every guy on the team that my friend was on, they all had nicknames,
Oh yeah.
Shout out to my friend Hacksaw. So they were all like, I'm like, whoa. And they were in, but it was organized, but it was probably not as organized as it would be if they had Gametime Hero.
Yeah, I would say anyone who's got a mess of group chats,
Yes,
or WhatsApp groups or spreadsheets or email, you could go on to Gametime Hero and use it and have all the tools really at your fingertips at no cost. So we wanted to make sure like neighborhood groups or community groups like that wouldn't have the dollar amount or cost to be a barrier.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep those promoting and keep building community.
Oh my goodness. Is there something that you want to say to everyone listening out there that even if they're like, well, I haven't played sports in eons, but my heart is still with hoops, but I'm not trying to be in the WNBA, or I'm just, like, what can you say to the people listening out there that even if they're on the cusp of wanting to get back into something?
Well, when thinking about just health in general, they say, how can people be physically healthy? But along with being healthy and well is having community and having people or having a third place to go. And anyone who's involved in any communities, whether it involves sports or not, oftentimes is the third place where people know your name, where you can go to on a regular basis, and it helps mental, social, and physical health. So I would say get out there. That it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of physical ability, there are always things to learn, and it's how you keep your brain healthy as well. So
yeah. They say an 8 or 12-minute walk with a friend while you're talking
can change how long you live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I just saw that not too long ago and I was like, wow, that's a big chunk. Like, so it is the community along with just getting out there. You don't have to be bound for the Olympics. You don't have to be wanting to be pro. You can just try to find your tribe.
Yeah. Find your people. Find the people that you're going to love and are going to love you back.
Oh, Brittany, thank you so much. And kudos to you and AR. It's just such a great concept and can't wait for it to be like 100% out and running. And hopefully not only in the U.S., every state in the U.S., but then maybe even more.
Let's go.
Make it global.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
And Dawn's show every week, not every week, often highlights women in sports, women movers and shakers. We don't always stick to that, but that is the theme throughout the show. We also want to thank our Vice President of Business Development, Tammy Henderson. If you want to be involved in the show, if you know somebody who would be a good subject for the show, reach out to Tammy at thenderson@talknorth.com. Thanks also to our producer, Alex Haugen. And thank you both. Great show.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks.